Hello and welcome to Matthew Royer Music. Today I decided to take you through the process on how I actually record music through GarageBand and the results that I get. I've been asked that question several times to add some content like this. So sit back, enjoy, hope you learned something, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit that bell so you can get notifications every week when I upload something new. Thanks for sticking around. Let's get to it. Now, in several cases, everybody's going to have a little different setup, but I'll kind of go over what I have. I'm literally using an iPad with GarageBand that came with the iPad. It's been amazing. I've recorded all of my music with it. I have a Focusrite Scarlett interface, and then over here I have my my mixing board that lines out into the Focusrite. The Focusrite goes into the iPad. That's my general setup for everything that I have. Now, as far as dialing everything in, I'd say let it up to your ears. You know what you like, follow that. So typically when I start with a song, I'll usually go on YouTube or listen to Spotify, whatever music service that you use, and I'll figure out what song I want to do. Now, one of the first things I do when I open GarageBand is I turn off the metronome. And the second thing that I do is to the right, there's a plus. You click that, it allows you to set the length of automatic or so many bars. After selecting the music, I'll click the record button, click the play button, and then I will simply record the music in its entirety. That will be now known as a scratch track. Okay, so now we've got a scratch track inside of the iPad. We have something to follow. Typically where I start at this point is with the drums. I like to start with the drums because that's honestly the backbone of the song and what's going to keep rhythm for everything else that you do during that song, and specifically cues or to add something special. So to me, I always like to start with that, so let's get started with drums next. As far as drums, I have a basic setup. I record all of the drums with 3 condenser microphones. I have one on the kick drum, one above on the right, and one above on the left. The top microphones are lined up with the center of the snare, and the bottom is just for the kick. Because they're condenser microphones, you have to turn on the phantom power, and then I turn on channel 1, 2, and 3. Again, I have my mixer dialed in, and then the last piece of equipment I have is a sonic maximizer, and I use this to keep the kick drum a little tighter. Alright, now like every other YouTube channel, let's finally get to play some music and see how this all works. So what you're going to see next is I'll be behind the drums. I have a set of headphones on listening to the music, obviously because I can't have it going through the speakers because the microphones will pick everything up. So you're going to see me going through a couple of different takes, doing a little bit of editing, and then we'll move on to probably bass guitar after that. So okay, so having started the first drum track, I made it this far and then I made a mistake. So now what I want to do is go in and edit that part out so I can drop down to my next track. So we're going to start by just listening to the mistake, which is about right here. Right there. Dut, 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 dut. So what I want to do is go up here into the bar, and I want to put my marker just beyond where the mistake is. Then we're going to right click, we're going to do a split, pull the little pair of scissors down, and then we're going to click on the part we want to remove, which will be the rest of that track. So we'll right click again, We'll get rid of delete. Now what I have is the end. So, right there. And obviously that's where I ended. So what I'll do is I'll go back a bar or two, but now we're going to drop down to the second drum track. So I can kind of start ahead of this and then figure out where my mistake was at so I can continue playing. And then at the end, again, we will do a track merge, which will bring it all back together. So I've gone back through and I've now created a second track where I had made my mistake previously. So I'm looking for the syncopation here where everything lines up, and where I started my mistake was after here, somewhere in here. But what I'm looking at here is I have a little accent right here I played in the very beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to edit right here. Now remember what we did the last time. We do a split. You're going to pull your pair of scissors down. You're going to highlight the area you delete. Right click and delete. Now there's a little gap right in here, so what you can do is you can click on that, and if you get your mouse right over the bar, it turns yellow and then it expands. So it allows me to kind of drag out a little bit so I get some overlap and we get a better sound. So let's see how we did. There we go. Now we got everything to line back up. Now all it's left to do is to continue that process until the drums are done. All right, I've completed all my drum tracks. Took several takes between the two tracks, and now what I want to do is I want to merge those into one solid track. So you literally go, you click on the drums, and I'm going to click merge. Then you're going to select the second track. Then you'll go to the right-hand corner and select merge. Now what it's doing is combining those tracks into one solid track. It's really nice. What it also does is it renders that track into the appropriate decibel level as well. So you end up with a very nice sounding track. We'll cover some more in editing later when we start leveling everything and going spatial with right and left. Now we're going to move on to the bass guitar.